the reason why the generator is not charging the batteries. So this is your automatic transfer switch, which selects your AC input. Okay, so the way that this is supposed to be set up is that your generator and shore power go into this box, and then this box chooses which one to send out to the inverter.
Okay.
Okay, but right now the way that it's installed in your unit is that the inverter comes in and the generator comes in, and then the transfer switch chooses between the batteries and the generator to feed to your panel. What it's, like I said, what it's supposed to be is that your shore power plug comes into this box, the generator comes into this box,
right,
and then it goes out to your inverter, and then your inverter goes to the panel.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That part makes sense. Now, what's the way it
So the way that it is right now is your inverter comes here, and your generator comes here.
Which is the way it should be, right?
No.
No.
So the way it is right now, let me back up a little bit. Your shore power plug, when you plug into shore, it comes directly to the inverter. It is not wired into this box right here.
Should it be?
It should be. Your shore power plug should be wired into this box, and your generator should be wired into this box, and then this box goes to your inverter.
So the shore power plug is there.
Correct, and it's wired into your inverter.
Not supposed to be that way.
Not supposed to be that way.
Because the original inverter was a trip light, and everything went into there.
Okay.
He routed inverter into there, and the inverter into the AC into the inverter into there.
Correct.
And he should have done that.
He shouldn't have done that. And that's where our troubleshooting came from. We were checking wires, we were checking all the components to see what was going on, and this is what we found out. We were thinking the transfer switch wasn't working. We were just going through all of our checklists to figure out what was going on, and this is what we found, is that this is not wired correctly. And that's why Mike was reaching out to you about the schematic, because he wanted to see how it's supposed to be and why things are no longer the way they used to be for you. And we're assuming that when this was installed, they didn't do the installation properly. We understand that it was a friend of yours, so we're not pointing blame or anything like that. We're just saying it's not correct.
Yeah, because I had brought it to Dan's Auto, where I normally go to.
Okay.
And he has his own motor coach.
Okay.
So he looked at it for a long time. He says, "Yeah, everything's wired right. He did a good job.
Right.
The inverter's working okay."
And looking at this, it looks like it's fine. But what we had to do is we had to follow these wires, and found out that one of these is the output from the inverter coming here, and then the
output from where?
So one of these yellow wire, I don't remember which one it is the output from the inverter.
Okay.
Okay. And then this guy, which is, like I said, looking at it, it looks correct. But inside this box in here, I can show you, just so it makes more sense to you.
Just so it makes some sense. I'm not familiar with this.
Well, while he's doing that, what we did was, after Mike and I talked, because we're thinking maybe you weren't advised of the circuit breaker situation, so we took off an hour and a half.
Okay.
So your bill was $360 this time. So we took off an hour and a half, so it's only $180.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me? I think we have a card on file. Do you
Use
want
that
me?
card.
Okay, perfect. I'll go do that, and I'll give you guys a paid
As long as, if it doesn't work, don't worry about it. Use your card. If it doesn't work, the expiration might be off.
Okay, I'll look
It
at
expired 125. So I have a new card. I mean, same.
Let me go look at it and see what I see, and then I'll be back.
Yeah, the old one expired 121.
Okay.
So same card, new CV code, and all this stuff.
Okay. Let me try.
And I'm trying. This thing is fighting me.
Anything I can do to help, or?
Don't break it.
There we go. Didn't break it. All right, so
Now record that if you can, because this is like holy mackerel.
so this here is your transfer switch connections. Okay, one of them's the generator.
Okay. Do you know which is which?
So right here is the generator. Okay.
Okay.
One of these is going to be, and I don't remember which one it is, one of them's supposed to be your shore, and then one's your output. Okay, these are just some ties that are part of the actual mechanism. So looking outside at the box, you see input, input, output, just looking outside. And that's what we thought originally. We were like, well, everything looks fine, what's going on? Even looking at this, it's like, okay, but when we start pulling on wires right here where these wing nuts are, that's your shore power.
Okay.
Okay, so what happened was the individual took the shore power from here and took it out of this box and wired it directly into the inverter. So when you plug shore in, what happens is the inverter gets plugged in, it starts charging the batteries, and then it does what's called a pass-through, where it allows the AC to go straight to your panel. And so the transfer switch thinks, right now it thinks that your inverter is your shore power. And then when you turn your generator on, it flips the switch, because these things always prioritize generator. And then this passes through, and the output on this goes straight to your panel.
You understand that? Is that don't put so turn the generator on, or same thing for the AC for the motor, right? That's the same thing, whether it's the generator or the motor.
No, sir. So like we were saying when we're looking at that schematic, the RV alternator, the engine on the coach does not charge your batteries back here.
Okay, they used to.
They used to before.
And we don't know how that was wired
Okay.
before, right?
Correct.
I had the correct one.
Okay, thank
So
you.
there's your credit card receipt and that. And then if you need anything else, just call us, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Ian. I appreciate
Yep,
it.
no problem. So what's not making sense? I'm trying to think of different
Yeah.
ways to explain it. So ask your questions. I understand that
Yeah,
you're not.
I understood way back the initial thing where it should go into a proper slot there,
Correct.
and when both are on, the generator or the motor, it should or the generator at least, should prioritize the generator supplying power to the inverter or to the battery.
That's the way it should be.
Supplying power to the inverter or to the batteries?
So the inverter is what charges the batteries.
Right.
Okay. So your battery packs are DC.
Generator to inverter to battery.
Correct.
Charge. Okay.
Correct.
I know it's all DC. Go ahead.
Okay. So the inverter takes the AC from the generator.
Right. Inverter takes the AC from the generator. You're right.
Okay. And then converts it to
DC.
DC.
And stores it.
Yes, sir.
Got that.
Okay.
No problem.
When the generator's off, the inverter draws DC
Right.
from the batteries and inverts it to AC.
Right. And it also powers up.
And then
all
it'll
this
power
stuff.
all this stuff. Correct.
Got all that.
That's the way it should be.
That's the way I thought it was. Okay.
That's where we're at right now. So what's basically happening, again, this transfer switch has 2 inputs, 1 output. Okay? Typically what it is it's generator and shore. Those are the 2 standard inputs for RV transfer switches.
Okay.
Okay? And then the output from this transfer switch then typically goes to the panel, or
That's the panel.
that's the panel, or the output should go to the inverter converter. That's what it's supposed to do.
How do you know which way it goes?
By by following the wires. And so
Well,
on the back of the inverter, there's an input
in
and
a
an
normal
output.
operation. What decides? The engine is supposed to supply power to the inverter, which supplies it to the battery.
No, so you've got your 6 blue batteries. Your nice. I can't remember what types of batteries they are, but the inverter is hooked up to those batteries at all times unless that breaker is tripped. So that's where the inverter is getting its power from, is from those 6 batteries. Nothing is being drawn on your car's
Right.
your car, the engine's battery back here.
Okay, I know that's the way it is.
Yes, sir.
Had he not put those 4 batteries back there, I had the option of putting 2 batteries there, which is what was done.
Mm-hmm.
2 plus 4 makes 6. So at that point, when I operated the engine, it charged these batteries through the old inverter.
Okay.
So it charges it through the old inverter and hit.
Okay. I can't really speak to how it used to be.
Okay.
Um,
If this were properly wired, so that if I had a triplet inverter and it were properly wired, this automobile, the engine would charge those 2 batteries. That's the way it was.
That's the way. Correct. I'm gonna assume correct, because
How do you do that now?
So basically, what you would have to do, and there might be a wire in here. Again, that's where it would have to be. This is what we're gonna have to do. We'd have to find if there's a wire run from the vehicle's alternator, and then see if it's back here, where it's at, if it's gone somewhere. And it might be this guy here. We don't know. This guy here, and it might just not be. It might not be connected. We're not sure how it is.
So we're not even sure which one it is.
I'm not even sure which one. We'd have to trace wires. We'd have to do a little bit more in depth, and then to correctly wire this up, we would have to make sure that it was generator and your shore plug, and then the output goes to the inverter.
You got that?
Does that make sense?
2 inputs, 1 output.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, yeah. So you generate, but right now the generator is still not doing its job. It's still not providing to the
Batteries. Correct.
Because it's incorrectly wired.
Here.
Okay.
You
I'll
got it?
kill him.
I'm so sorry.
You have it? You want me to turn it off now?
Yeah.